What's up, everybody? Day 14 of the World Cup is in the books. Very busy day. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on the docket today. We have groups A, B, and C playing their third and final game of the group stage. Also, proud to say the big board is back. There was no way I was fitting 6 games on that small board. But I got it updated today. The standings in the back are all updated as well. We'll take a look at the standings once we get through these games. But let's start with Group B. And as a reminder, all these games kicked off at the same exact time. We'll start with the Bosnia game. They're ranked 64th, taking on Qatar, ranked 56th. Coming into this match, Bosnia drew with Canada 1-1 in that surprising result. And then they lost to Switzerland 4-1. For Qatar, they drew with Switzerland 1-1, and that was kind of the first big surprise of this tournament. And then they lost to Canada 6-0. We get things going here in the 29th minute. I will butcher this name. Alaj Begovic would score on the 29th to make it 1-0 for Bosnia. Then we go to the 34th. Abu Nada would score to make it 2-0 for Bosnia. It was an own goal, unfortunately, for Qatar. 2-0 Bosnia. Then we head to the 42nd. Qatar gets on the board, makes it 2-1. Al Haidos would score. Now we have a game, and then it wouldn't be until the 80th minute until Bosnia could kind of relax a little bit. Mamik would score to make it 3-1. And that is how this match would end. Great victory for Bosnia en route to advancing to the round of 32, which coming into this tournament, I don't think many people were picking Bosnia to advance out of the group stage, but they have. Great job for them. Well, I mean, we'll see on how the third place finishing goes, but I have in the up next category, that's usually when I would say what team they play next. On FOTMob, they gave me the knockout stages as it stands currently. Obviously, there's the rest of the group still have to go. So we'll see, and this could change. But I'm just going to tell you as of right now how things look, right? There are some games that are confirmed, but obviously we have to wait till all the teams in groups finish before the knockout matches get confirmed. But jumping the gun a little bit, let's go to the stats here. Possession, 54% for Bosnia, 46% for Qatar. The XG is 0.68 for Bosnia, 0.77 for Qatar. Shots, 14, 5 on target for Bosnia, 9, 3 on target for Qatar. Man of the match, courtesy of FOTMob, is Alaj Begovic, 8.3 player rating with the goal. And then, as I mentioned, up next for Bosnia, as it stands currently, they will take on the United States in the round of 32 on July the 1st, which would be, on paper, it looks like an easy win for the United States. But I tell you what, this Bosnia team drew with Canada 1-1 in a tough environment in Toronto. Yes, they lost to Switzerland, but Switzerland is really good. And then you beat Qatar 3-1. They knocked out Italy to get to the World Cup. Remember that in the UEFA qualifying. So I think for Bosnia, if this matchup is for real and is going to happen, I'm looking at this U.S. team and thinking we could upset them. There's definitely an opportunity for them to upset the United States. Obviously, we'll see how the U.S. plays against Turkey tomorrow. USA is firing on all cylinders at the moment, but Bosnia is definitely a team that could cause an upset, I should say. Unfortunately for Qatar, they are eliminated from the World Cup. No World Cup for them. I put a sad face there. But, as expected, no one was thinking Qatar was going to do anything. But happy that they participated, but that is it for them. Have a safe flight home. Let's go to the other game in Group B. Switzerland ranked 19th taking on Canada ranked 30th. Coming into this match, Switzerland drew with Qatar 1-1. And that was probably the best result for Qatar. That's something they can look back on and say, hey, we drew with Switzerland. And then Switzerland beat Bosnia 4-1. For Canada, they drew with Bosnia 1-1 and then beat Qatar 6-0 in that thrilling victory in Vancouver. This game was also played at the beautiful BC Place of Vancouver, by the way. Shout out Vancouver, love it. We will start in the 46th minute. Vargas would score to make it 1-0 for Switzerland. And then we go to the 57th. It would be 2-0 for Switzerland. Manzambi would score. Look out for Manzambi. I'm a big Bundesliga fan, as you couldn't tell, wearing my Leverkusen. I think this is their third shirt, I think. I got it on Classic Football Shirts, but I'm pretty sure it's their third shirt from like a couple of years ago. But Manzambi plays for Freiburg. Great player. He was excellent in I think it was the Europa League, not the Europa League final. There was a game that we did a watch-along for, but I can't remember what it was. I was thinking it was the Europa League semifinal. It was the Europa League semifinal, and Manzambi, he scored the second goal, the go-ahead goal in Freiburg against Club Braga in that game. And I was like, man, this Manzambi kid's really good. That was the first time I watched him play. And so he's had a pretty good World Cup. So his stock has risen. Okay, I'm glad that I looked that up. That was going to bother me all night if I didn't think of that. Okay, so Manzambi in the 57th would make it 2-0 for Switzerland. And then Canada would answer. David in the 76th would make it 2-1. Canada would press and press and press. They had a lot of corner kicks, a lot of long throw-ins, trying to find that equalizer. Because if they did equalize this game, they would top Group B, and they would have, I believe, the next two matches, round of 32 and round of 16, at BC Place in Vancouver. So they'd have home field advantage. Unfortunately, they could not find the equalizer, and the game would end 2-1 for Switzerland. Tough results for Canada, but hey, they came into this World Cup not having won a match. They got their first victory over Qatar 6-0, got a draw against Bosnia. You lost to Switzerland, no shame in that. But they are going to advance to the round of 32. First time they've advanced out of the group stage at a World Cup, so baby steps for Canada. Stats in this game: possession 55% for Switzerland, 45% for Canada. XG of 1.11 for Switzerland, 1.66 for Canada. Shot 6, 4 on target for Switzerland, 13, 7 on target for Canada. Your man in the match, courtesy of FOTMob, is Gregor Kobel, 8.8 player rating. Huge fan of Kobel, obviously. Borussia Dortmund goalkeeper. Up next for Switzerland, as it stands currently, they will take on Algeria in the round of 32 on July 2nd. And then as it stands, Canada will take on South Africa in the round of 32, June 28th. If that is the matchup for both of these teams, that should be a pretty straightforward victory for Switzerland, but nothing is straightforward when you get into knockout football. I'll tell you that right now. Canada, that's a favorable matchup against South Africa. I would fancy Canada to do well in that game, to be honest with you. Right, that is Group B. Let's go now to Group C. I don't know why they went out of order today. I think it was because they wanted the Mexico game at night, but it's weird how we're going like in this weird non-alphabetic order. But we'll go with it. Group C. We have 7th ranked Morocco taking on 83rd ranked Haiti. Is it Haiti, or I've seen people pronounce it as Haiti? I think maybe it's just your accent. I say Haiti. Coming into this one, Morocco drew with Brazil 1-1, and then they beat Scotland 1-0. Haiti lost to Scotland 1-0, and then lost to Brazil 3-0. So no goals for Haiti in this tournament. We'll see if they can get on the board. Morocco looking to, of course, get out of the group stage and replicate that semifinal run they had last World Cup. We will start in the 10th minute. Bounou would get Haiti's first goal in this World Cup. It is an own goal, so a Haitian player didn't score it. But nonetheless, they all count the same. 1-0 for Haiti in the 10th minute. And then we go to the 39th minute. Hakimi, my brother from another mother. Basically the same last name as me, just get rid of the I. Hakimi in the 39th would equalize and make it 1-1. And then Haiti, look at this, in the 43rd would take the lead again, 2-1. And then shortly after, 3 minutes later, Saibari would score to equalize to make it 2-2. Then we go into the second half, pretty tight game until the very end. 78th minute, Rahimi would give Morocco the lead 3-2. And then in the 89th minute, Yassine would score to end Haiti's hopes of trying to equalize and make it 4-2. And that is how this match would end. Not a pretty win, I guess, for Morocco. You would expect them to have more control in this game, but a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you get them at the World Cup. You'll take it. For Haiti, you get 2 goals in this game. You probably weren't expecting to do that. But, I mean, you can leave your heads held high putting 2 past Morocco. I think I didn't really watch that Scotland game 1-0, but you'd say probably their best performance. I mean, it's an admirable effort against a really good Morocco team. The stats in this game, possession 69% for Morocco, very nice. And then 31% for Haiti. XG of 3.76 for Morocco, 0.67 for Haiti. Shots 22-11 on target for Morocco, 9-2 on target for Haiti. Your man of the match, courtesy of FOTMob, is Hakimi with a 9.0 player rating. And then up next for Morocco, as it stands, they will take on the Netherlands in the round of 32 on June the 29th. That is a tough draw for both teams. If that is the case, that's a very tough draw. I tell you what, though, if for a neutral, that's a juicy matchup in the round of 32. I love it. But I kind of wish these two teams would meet later in the tournament versus, first game. It's unfortunate that one of these teams would have to go in the first round, but it is what it is. It's the luck of the draw when you do knockout football. But yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. You have some teams have it easier, some teams have it harder. That's a tough route for either team. I probably would fancy... That's tough. I probably would fancy... I want to say Morocco. But the Netherlands... You can't sleep on the Netherlands either. Last World Cup, they did really good. So that's a toss-up. Let me know in the comment section. I'm leaning Morocco, but either team could win. Unfortunately for Haiti, that's the end of the road for them at this World Cup. Give them a round of applause for them. Good effort today, but not enough in the end. They lose 4-2. Let's go to this other match. We have Scotland, ranked 42nd, taking on Brazil, ranked 6th. Coming in, Scotland got a 1-0 win over Haiti, and they lost to Morocco 1-0. For Brazil, they drew with Morocco 1-1, and then beat Haiti 3-0. Quickly in the 7th minute, Vinicius Jr. would make it 1-0. He would make it 2-0 in the 45 plus 3 minutes. And then Cunha would score in the 60th to make it 3-0. Bit of a rout for Brazil. It would end 3-0 for them over Scotland. 0 full-time 3. Disappointing from Scotland, but hey, you gotta win at least. We'll see if that is enough for Scotland to make it to the round of 32. Brazil, 2 wins in the bag, a draw, very good performance in this group stage. A lot of questions with Brazil. New manager, Ancelotti, Neymar's on the team. People question that, but I would say a pretty good group stage in my opinion. The stats in this one: 54% for Brazil, 46 for Scotland, XG of 1.04 for Scotland, 4.33 for Brazil. Could have been far worse. Shots 14, 5 on target for Scotland, 21, 9 on target for Brazil. Your man of the match, courtesy of FOTMob, is Vinicius Jr. with a 9.3 player rating. Has a brace today. Up next for Scotland, as it stands currently, based on everything, they would advance to the round of 32, and they would take on Mexico on June 30th. If that is the case, and they do make it, which would be great for Scotland, there is absolutely no chance they're beating Mexico in that game. Absolutely no chance. Maybe I'm biased, but playing Mexico in Mexico, it's difficult for anyone, and especially if you're Scotland. I don't think they're as good as Mexico at all. I just don't see how Mexico would lose that, in my opinion. Just, there's something going on when you play in Mexico. It's just so much more difficult. Coming from a Seattle Sounders fan of MLS, whenever we go down and play, like a Tigres or any other Liga MX team, it's just so difficult to get a result in Mexico. So I just don't see Scotland doing anything there if they advance. For Brazil, they would take on Japan on June the 29th. And I'd fancy, that's a tough matchup, but I'd fancy Brazil over Japan. Could be an upset, but I would fancy Brazil. Right, that's Group C and B. Now let's do Group A. We have Czechia ranked 40th taking on Mexico ranked 14th. Coming into this one, Czechia lost 2-1 for Korea and then drew South Africa 1-1. So must-win game for Czechia. Mexico 2-0 over South Africa, victory. And then they beat South Korea 1-0. Have yet to give up a goal in this tournament, by the way, Mexico. We go to the 55th minute. Chavez would score for Mexico to make it 1-0. In the 61st, Quinones would score to make it 2-0. And then I want to give a special shout out to Memo Ochoa. He was subbed on kind of in the 75th minute, I want to say, which means he has participated in his 6th World Cup of his football career. Unbelievable stuff. I've always been a huge Memo Ochoa fan. Happy to see that. The stadium at the Azteca was electric too. Just, oh my gosh. Honestly, if we could have all these games played at the Azteca, I'd be so happy. Logistically, that would never work. But I love watching games at the Estadio Azteca. It's just so much fun. But we go to the 90 plus 4 minutes. Fidalgo would put a bow on this fantastic performance from Mexico, and it would end 3-0 over Czechia. So 0 and then a 3. I have to talk when I write, otherwise I mess up. 3-0 for Mexico. Great results. In the group stage, have not given up a goal. That's why I just don't see Scotland doing anything if that's the matchup. Perfect. You cannot ask for more of a perfect start for Mexico at this World Cup. 3 wins, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals scored, no goals conceded. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. The stats in this game, Czechia did have more possession, 52% to 48. The XG, however, 1.74 for Mexico, 0.53 for Czechia. Shots, 13, 1 on target for Czechia, 11, 5 on target for Mexico. Your man in the match, courtesy of FOTMob, is Chavez with an 8.3 player rating. He got the first goal. Unfortunately for Czechia, with this result, a loss, a draw, and another loss here, they are eliminated from the World Cup. I don't know why I'm applauding. I guess good effort is why I'm applauding. Good effort for Czechia. Disappointing. I think I had them in my bracket as a third place team. I expected more especially against South Africa. That's a game that I think should have won. Didn't, got a draw. The Korea loss you could stomach. They needed to beat South Africa and failed, so that doomed them, and they just looked so defeated by the end of this game. Once it was 2-0, they just gave up. They just were like, get me home, back to Czechia, back to wherever I'm going to play for next season, and let's get ready for the upcoming season in August is kind of where they were at. For Mexico, as I mentioned, as it stands, they're obviously topping the group. They're guaranteed round of 32. Who they play, though, is up in the air. Right now, it is Scotland on June the 30th. The last game of the day. Thank you for bearing with me. This is going to be a longer video. In Group A, so we have South Africa ranked 60th taking on South Korea ranked 25th. Okay, coming into this one, South Africa, they lost 2-0 to Mexico and then drew 1-1 with Czechia. And then South Korea, they beat Czechia 2-1 and then lost to Mexico 1-0. So battle of the Souths here. Let's see who's going to win. Coming in, and my money was definitely on South Korea. But surprisingly, in the 63rd minute, Maseko would score to make it 1-0. And that's it. That's all it would take for South Africa. And they get a huge victory. 1-0 over South Korea. Not what I had anticipated. And not how I thought South Africa's World Cup campaign was going to go. After that 2-0 loss to Mexico, they looked horrific, in my opinion, in that game. They got themselves together with the great performance against Czechia, 1-1 draw. And then when a victory here against a team that I don't think they should be beating. Disappointing from South Korea, but they get the 3 points. Look at the stats, 68% for South Korea, 32% for South Africa. XG, however, 1.16 for South Africa, 0.90 for South Korea. Shots, 13, 4 on target for South Africa, 8, 3 on target for South Korea. Your man in the match, courtesy of FOTMob, is Williams, the goalkeeper for South Africa, with an 8.6 player rating. Up next, so South Africa, they have advanced to the round of 32. As it stands, they will play Canada in the round of 32 on June the 28th. I mentioned that Canada would fancy that matchup, and I definitely think South Africa is a team that Canada can beat. But I give credit to South Africa. After that poor performance, they've seemed to have put something together a little bit. But I still think Canada is a better team and will get the job done against South Africa if that is the matchup. For South Korea, they're going to go in as a third place team. We'll see if it's enough. They currently only have 3 points. It might be enough. We'll take a look at the standings in a second. But as it stands currently, FOTMob has them playing Egypt on July the 1st, which I think South Korea should be beating Egypt. I think, but we'll see. So yes, that is day 14. Thank you for bearing with me. That was a long spiel of going through all the games, but thank you so much. Recapping it, Bosnia, 3-1 win over Qatar. Switzerland, 2-1 win over Canada. Morocco, 4-2 win over Haiti. Brazil, 3-0 win over Scotland. Mexico, 3-0 win over Czechia. South Africa, 1-0 over South Korea. Now, let's take a look at the standings and see how all this shakes out. Here are your standings after day 14 at the World Cup. We'll take a look at groups A through C. These are your final standings. In Group A, Mexico finished first with 9 points, a +6 goal differential, as I mentioned, 0 goals conceded. In second, South Africa with 4 points, a -1 goal differential. In third, South Korea with 3 points, a -1 goal differential. And then Czechia in fourth, 1 point, a -4 goal differential. So Czechia's gone. South Korea could be a third place team. That's a pretty solid goal differential. It might be enough. South Africa advance. And then Mexico, of course, will advance. The surprise for me is South Africa. I did not peg them advancing via the second place slot. So big ups and big props to South Africa for getting that done. In Group B, it finishes Switzerland in first with 7 points, a +4 goal differential. In second, Canada, 4 points, a +5 goal differential. In third, Bosnia, 4 points, a -1 goal differential. And fourth, Qatar, 1 point, a -8 goal differential. This group went pretty much exactly how I thought in terms of the standings. Points-wise, Bosnia having 4 points, bit surprising. Didn't expect them to get points off of Canada, but they did. And then Canada, no surprise, I had them second. And then Switzerland in first, as expected. Qatar is gone. Bosnia in third. 4 points for me, you're basically in the round of 32. I don't know how you could get 4 points and not advance. So Bosnia should be going through, no problem. Unfortunately for Canada, they don't get that home field advantage being in first. So I think they got to go down to Los Angeles for their first game in the round of 32. So hopefully you Canadians got your visas and passports so you can travel to Los Angeles. Shouldn't be too far from Vancouver, right? Now let's go to Group C. In first, we have Brazil with 7 points. In second, Morocco, 7 points. By the way, Brazil +6 goal differential, and then Morocco is a +3 goal difference. Scotland in third with 3 points and -3 goal differential. And then Haiti in fourth, no points, a -6 goal differential. So Haiti is gone. Scotland maybe could be enough. 3 points could be enough to get them in. However, that -3 goal differential might hamper them from getting in the round of 32. But as it stands, they are in the round of 32. That's TBD. Morocco are through, of course, and Brazil are through. That's how we expected it. Brazil, Morocco, pretty fair in my opinion. Brazil, I think, are definitely favorites to go on a run. You could also see Morocco go on a run too. But yeah, honestly, of the teams that have advanced today in the top two, I'm going to say Brazil, Morocco. Switzerland's good. I just don't see them making a deep run. I am going to pick Mexico to make a deep run. I think because, hear me out, Mexico, they're going to have the round of 32 at the Azteca, round of 16 at the Azteca, so they're for sure going to get to the quarterfinals, in my opinion. I think the quarterfinal game is in Miami, which might as well be Mexico 2.0. Huge. A Mexico game in Miami is basically a home game again for Mexico. So I think in my bracket, I had them going to the semifinals. So it's possible. They're playing some great football right now, have not conceded a goal. I think Mexico is poised to make a deep run. Let me know if I'm crazy, or are you a Mexico believer? Let me know. I could be insane. That's just what I'm feeling in my gut. But yes, those are your standings, groups A, B, and C. feel free to pause the video and you can look at these other standings as well. These are live as of like 2 a.m. right now. But let me tell you the games that are happening later today, or I guess on day 15 of the World Cup. We'll have Group E. Very excited for this. We have Curacao and the Ivory Coast, and then Ecuador taking on my team, Germany, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then in Group F, we'll have Japan and Sweden, and then Tunisia and the Netherlands. Both of those games at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the big one, Group D, Paraguay, Australia, and then Turkey taking on the United States at 10 p.m. Eastern. So big day tomorrow. We got the U.S. at night. I'm definitely going to be watching that Germany game tomorrow afternoon, as being a huge Bundesliga fan. Should be a great day. Another busy day at the World Cup. It'll be fun to keep track of everything. But yes, we will leave it here. Thank you for watching and for sticking to the end. This is a very long video. I appreciate you watching. Maybe you enjoy it, maybe you don't, that's fine. But smash a like if you want. Feel free to give me a follow here as well. All the links that you need to know are in the video description. And we will see you for day 15 of the World Cup. Before we go, Pap over here, you don't know, Pap is like my little co-host doing these videos. Does he have any predictions or anything that he has to say? Get off his chest. Yes, I agree. Yes, so Pap says that Mexico will make it to the semifinals as well. You heard it here first. I'm not crazy. If Pap says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I trust Pap with all my life, and you should too. All right. Thank you again, and we'll see you for day 15. Peace.